Hello, good evening. It is 10:29, 2020. The time is 12:12 a.m. Look at that, angel numbers. This reading is for Cassie, and this is a spirit reading. So essentially, what I'm doing in this case is just sort of trying to tap into Cassie's spirit sphere or spirit group, or the people that are the most the well, they're not all human, but the spirits and energy that are most forward in Cassie's life. So I am doing that with a couple of different tools at my disposal. First, an intuitive reading where I attempted to reach out to the spirits via meditation and opening a gateway that way. And then I kind of followed up with some oracle cards, which I have laid in front of me here. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and get started. So what I have basically is that you, Cassie, have a couple of different connections in your sphere. I guess let's start with talking about what your strongest abilities are. Your strongest abilities are being a mental intuitive and a spiritual intuitive and a physical intuitive. So 3 different intuitive types that I'm picking up in your sphere. Physical intuitives are people who can sense different things from touching objects. They might be good at things like, Reiki or massage or different types of energy healing that require you to use your hands. They also pick up intuitive energy through their body, so they often feel very drained all over and can't always explain why. Mental intuitives are more prone to using tools like cartomancy or astrology or numerology, spreadsheets, different things in their practice that help them to stay organized and that allow them to recognize patterns and do research and things like that. And the emotional intuitive or the empath has the typical things you would expect, like being able to kind of sense somebody else's emotions and be really in tune with it, even if they're far away, things like that. So you get that kind of emotionally charged experience of going through life. And that's sort of what I picked up from like your sensitivities in that area. So you have a couple of different entities around you. And one of them that I sensed really strongly is a spirit energy of a woman. She's very maternal and nurturing. She's almost Orthodox looking, as in like an Orthodox Catholic, or almost like nun-like or priestess-like. She had this very modest dress, like head to toe cover, including like a hood or a scarf sort of around her head. And she seemed very pristine and clean and organized and loving and nurturing, and very much wanted you to connect with the other energies that are in your sphere, which are what I call angel energy. And when I use that term, angel, I don't refer to angels in necessarily the biblical sense or the Christian sense. It's more just like these energies that sort of exist in these certain realms of spirit that have always existed, and they predate religion, really. But she's excited that you have those types of energies in your corner. So she wants you to work with Jophiel and Sandalphon mostly. Jophiel to do things like connect with yourself, meditate, forgiveness. I think that's a big one for you, forgiveness, because I'm seeing a theme in this other set of cards over here that has to do with, forgiveness and some sort of incident. So I think that this woman who is very fond of you, this older sort of crone kind of nun-looking woman, seems very orthodox and very into the idea of you connecting with these angels. The other one that I mentioned, Sandalphon, is good for manifestation. So if you are interested in manifesting good things in your life, there's a lot of research and work that comes with that. But one of the ways that you can do that is by working with Sandalphon, and you have that connection. Um, so over on this side, I have a little bit more about that, who that spirit is and how she interacts with your life. So what this tells me, she's kind of in the center. I pulled this card called the Wise Crone, which is exactly who she is in your life, the Wise Crone. And she's kind of stuck in this loop with you where she feels responsible for you or for things in your life, and she tries to send you a message in the physical world, which you sort of reject. You sort of don't spend enough time going into yourself. You doubt your intuition. If you see something weird or you experience something weird, you're quick to brush it aside or try to rationalize it as something else. And sometimes it is something else, and sometimes it might be this spirit trying to get in touch with you. And some of your reason for sort of pushing it all aside and negating all of that is like you're obsessed with this idea of getting justice for something, some wrong that occurred. You don't feel like there's been any justice, and it makes you really mad. And it's kind of eating you up, and it's taking over all of your spiritual energy. So you're not really giving any to this very loving spirit that is in your sphere and who cares very much about you at this kind of matriarchal level. Her name might be Elizabeth or Liz, it seemed like was the name that came through. So I would look into familial Elizabeths or people who go by Liz who might be very Orthodox, or any connections that you might have to certain saints or martyrs in the church if you have a Catholic background. Like she was very strong. She didn't seem, if she was like a family spirit, if she was an ancestor, then she was a very old, very strong ancestor coming through. She showed up at my little meeting place that I keep in spirit to work with my guides. I mean, and didn't have any problem just kind of showing up, which is unusual. I believe that she is at this point, if she was a human, you know, in an ancestor, that she was close to ascending to a different level of energy, like guide or angel or something of that nature. So yeah, she's there. She showed me like herself looking at like old photos of you. A picture of you on a tricycle, like maybe when you were a toddler, and it's one of those like goofy, like, you know, topless baby pictures that people like ooh and ah at. And she was looking at that, and she did have a message. I tried to get a message from her, and what it said was, "Let her laugh." And I don't think she was referring to herself when she said, "Let her laugh" to me. I think she was referring to another her in your life, maybe somebody that you think never takes things seriously enough, or like it was like you can't control. You probably have a tendency to want to control everything, and so if somebody's not being serious enough for you, you want to tell them that they need to like wise up and like that this is serious, and you kind of want to control their reaction, and there are some things that are out of your hands, and that was sort of like unburden yourself with these things that are out of your hands, and let her laugh, whomever it is that you feel is maybe just being too flippant about things. That's how I took it, at least, unless it has some other more significant or special meaning to you. I don't think there was anything else that really came up. This spirit was very strong, and you have a few angels around you, and some very unique gifts that I think you could hone if you spend some time on them, and especially working with this wise crone type spirit here. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. All right, thanks, Cassie. Good night.